Hey everyone, my name is Marissa. Welcome to my divination channel. Super stoked to be here with you guys. If this is your first time, a little bit about me. My intention and my calling in this lifetime is to aid and assist others in recognizing their soul signature. So in accurately tapping into their soul's blueprint and then being able to create a life beautifully from there. So recognizing intuition, hearing intuition, acting on intuition, and watching this beautiful masterpiece create itself. And so tarot is one of those methods and tools that I have found along my own path that really serves as a wonderful catalyst and method and just support system along this hero's journey and this road less traveled that can be a little bit uncertain at times. And yeah, I'm very happy that you guys have entrusted me with these group readings and personal readings and breathwork journeys, breathwork sessions. It's all just such an honor for me to be entrusted with you guys with these intimate aspects of healing and reclaiming our power. So very excited for these readings. Like, it's popping off, okay, for everyone. Like, this year is like our year, you guys. Like, there was so much great, beautiful breakthrough energy for January readings. And there are two aspects to these readings. First, we dive into milestones or highlights that you can anticipate, as well as areas of growth or challenge that you might experience. And it's important to remember that timelines are not set in stone. However, we do have what's called probable timelines based off of where the most amount of energy has gained the most amount of momentum. Okay, so that's how that works. Nothing is ever set in stone on this plane of existence. But again, especially when you're tuning into your soul's resonance and you're moving in alignment with your intuition, things are predictably unpredictable. It just like keeps getting better, but the ways it gets better, it's just like, kind of a surprise and super dope to find out along the way. So 4 piles to choose from today. Take your time. You can use a random number generator to help you. And we're going to hop into these readings. Hey group number 1, welcome to your reading. This is your January reading. Super excited for you. Super excited for us to get into this. You can stick around for the shuffling portion or skip right to the reading in the description box. There are 2 main aspects to today's reading. We're going to dive into any highlights or milestones that you can look forward to, as well as any areas of growth or challenge you can expect for the month of January. So we're going to get right into it. So first, Spirit, those beings that are overseeing the group of souls that will be drawn to group number 1 today, we are asking about any highlights or milestones for the month of January for group number 1, please. Okay. And highlights and milestones for group number 1. Getting deeper into it, please. Highlights and milestones for group number 1. Okay. And let's clarify the energy, please. Group number 1. Highlights and milestones, group number 1. All right. Now we're asking about any challenges or areas of growth that group number 1 can expect in the month of January. Challenges or areas of growth for group number 1, the month of January. Okay. And to clarify that energy even more, challenges or areas of growth for group number 1. Okay, and lastly, let's clarify the energy. Areas of growth, challenges for group number 1. Oops. These cards are very hard to shuffle. Okay, anything else? Challenges and growth. Okay. All right, let's get into this. So first, we're gonna dive into highlights and milestones. We have flexible. A win-win outcome is forecast. So something about, I'm hearing there's something about like a change that's coming. Yeah, especially because this is like a full moon in Libra. So there's a change coming. It could have to do in the area of like relationships, or somehow like the people in your life are going to be changing, or just like maybe your living situation is changing, your work situation might be changing, but there's something about being flexible with the changes that are coming in January, or feeling like things are happening very effortlessly. Like it seems like maybe like a big change is coming, or not just that a change is coming, but just like you're handling it better than anticipated, or it's going more smoothly than anticipated, or it's like you feel very flexible. It's like, okay, this is going to work out. I know it's going to work out. Everything's going to be cool. But you're feeling like malleable during this time. Like it's not like, I'm not getting a sense of rigidity, but it might be something that you could be a little bit like nervous about or something. It's kind of what I'm getting, because there is like reassurance coming through here with a win-win outcome as forecast. But I feel like there's like changes overall that are happening in January, in an area that probably doesn't surprise you. And this is saying that I feel like, or like conversations of changes or something, and it's going to work out, or you're like considering going out and like doing something new, or like, yeah, let's get deeper with the cards. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, definitely change. Okay. Something is changing. The fates are changing, and you're navigating it very well. Even if it's like, I feel like even if it's just something about discussions are being had or something, is kind of what I'm getting. Like discussions are being had about changes that are being made, and you're kind of getting in this zone of flexibility to where, you know, things are up in the air, or you're getting ready to make a move, or the move is happening in January. But I'm just feeling overall like you're off to a bang in terms of like, okay, 2023 is, we're already making big strides in a new direction, and it seems like kind of out of your control in one sense, but on another hand, I feel like you just anticipated this, or it's just like time, right? It just feels like, okay, this is what's supposed to be happening, and I'm just going to lean into the direction of this, and I feel like it's really going to turn out better than expected, and you're going to feel like, okay, everything is going to be okay. Highlights and milestones, yeah, the stars, so much hope. I really am getting that. There's so much hope about like where you're going. And again, if like something, you might just like get news or something about like needing to make a change, because I am getting the sense that for some of you guys, the change is happening in January. It's something you're already aware about. For some of you guys, there's like a discussion of a change that's going to happen, or like even though the change is happening in January, it's like you're having discussions about like how to move forward, and you're feeling really solid and like, okay, this could actually work. Okay. So feeling very hopeful about your future, and feeling very hopeful about, you know, this portion of your life where it just really does feel like it's time to get moving in a new direction, moving more in alignment with your purpose. And yeah, I feel like this just feels like a very activated month, and a very like powerful way to begin the year, honestly. And it feels like very hopeful, and like, okay, we're moving in the right direction. Like good progress is being made. Next, we have the High Priestess. This is so beautiful. So all major arcana cards coming up with the tarot so far. So really big energy is being reiterated for the month of January. This is something that you've been intuiting too. And this is like a milestone, is like seeing how when you're working in alignment with your intuition, how things like just kind of work out. And I feel like, if anything, one of the milestones, I feel like it's really obvious. Like one of the wins is obvious on the physical level, but another win is obvious on the spiritual level of like, wow, like life can be good. Like life can be really flowy, and I can trust it. I can lean into things. And so what's being really reiterated here is that big changes are happening, and a good way to remain flexible and not rigid is like to do your best to stay out of your mind, and to do your best to let your mind just be like the servant for what your intuition is telling you. Because I feel like you've been getting a lot of downloads and ideas of how to make this work or how to be flexible with these changes. And it's going to work out, even if you don't think it's exactly how. Like, the downloads are just moving you in a certain direction. They're going to get you asking the right questions. They're going to get you having certain conversations, and even having the conversations like is like magic, right? It starts to get the forces of the wind, or like the forces of nature, the forces of the universe, to start to work in your favor and to like start bringing in new opportunities. So everything is like looking really good. Like a win-win outcome is forecast. So for everyone involved, everyone that might be involved in these changes that are happening, everyone's going to benefit from it. So if there's any like fear, like, oh, how is this going to affect this person, or how is this going to affect my kid, or how is this going to affect my finances, or whatever, like it's all going to work out. And lastly, we have Two of Cups. This is so beautiful. So yeah, maybe for some of you guys, it's just like, yeah, I was hearing in the beginning, because we have Libra here, that this is going to be very harmonious for everyone involved. This could have to do in some way with like making a change, could have something to do with like maybe even like moving in with someone, or talk about moving in with someone, or like it's just going to benefit, I feel like, everyone involved is what's being highlighted here, that you're going to grow a lot from this, that everyone that's affected by these changes that are happening are going to grow and be affected by this. And yeah, and I feel like this is moving more in the direction of just what you're here for, more in the direction of your soul's purpose, and the type of person that you're meant to be, and the type of person that like you're attracting now is different. And yeah, I'm just getting the sense that there's big up leveling that's happening that's affecting a lot of people. And to lean into it, be flexible, do your best to just like breathe and meditate and stay connected to your body, but really positive, good, beautiful things that are happening, and everyone is like growing through this and becoming better versions of themselves through these changes. So have no fear. We're going to get into what challenges or areas of growth you can expect. So first we have symbiosis. So yeah, I feel like it's funny because symbiosis is all about working together. And so I feel like just at first it just might be a little bit bumpy figuring out like new routines, or figuring out like, again, the logistics of things. But it's funny how like coherent this is, because it's like, on one hand, Spirit is saying that a highlight and a milestone is like what's moving you in this direction, and your intuition is leading you in the right direction. Even if things like, don't be fooled by appearances. If things are a little bit rocky at first, or just like feel or seem a little bit unsettled or uncertain, don't be fooled by appearances, because things are going to work out, is what I'm hearing, and better than you expect. And I just feel like people adjusting to newness is kind of what I'm getting, or like someone adjusting to a new work environment, or adjusting to a new work schedule, or a new job or something, there's just like an adjustment period that is like an area of growth. I don't really feel like it's a challenge, really. Have faith in your dreams. So this is so beautiful. So not giving up hope. And again, like, I feel like too, it's like, I don't really feel like this is a challenge or like a negative thing. I feel that if anything, it's like remembering in those moments where things get really tough, remembering what like led you in that direction in the first place. So oftentimes we can get these visions and these downloads, and then we start to move in that direction, and then we get kind of like nervous, or like imposter syndrome comes up, or we're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I might as well, like I should just stay here. I should just stay put. I should just stay comfortable. I should just stay stagnant. And so I feel like just like the day-to-day details might be a little bit overwhelming, or just like adjusting. It's just, we're creatures of comfort. And so this is saying, do not be fooled by appearances. You're not being led astray. Everything's going to work out better than you thought, right? It's like nature loves courage. This is Terrence McKenna. Nature loves courage. You make the commitment, and nature will remove, through that commitment, nature will remove like impossible obstacles. I'm probably butchering that, but I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's one of my favorite quotes by Terrence McKenna. And it's so true. So many people have said it in so many different ways. So this is like to have faith. So I just feel like in general, it just feels like big energy with all the major arcana, and big things like conversations are happening. Again, even if it's not happening this month, it's just like big transformation on the horizon with this like butterfly. And it's really calling for a greater version of you and a greater version of like other people. I feel like is being highlighted too with the Libra, the Two of Cups, and then all of the symbiosis is about different energies or people energies, auras coming together and like working together harmoniously. So I just think there's like little hiccups along the way, and Spirit's like, okay, don't lose sight of the bigger picture. It's going to be, as any big changes, there's like an adjusting period, but it's all going to be good, right? It's all, you're moving in the right direction. So we have the Fool coming up for challenges. So yeah, I feel like I see this so often, and this is not necessarily like a lot in my own life so much because I've taken this journey so many times of like the Fools and like starting over and just like following intuition before it makes sense. But maybe like there's other people involved in this somehow. And so it's like a little bit challenging and a little bit unsure. And you're kind of like the rock in some way. You're like, okay, maybe you're the rock, or maybe like, you are experiencing some of this emotion, like some of this hesitation of like, I feel naked, I feel exposed, like I feel a little bit raw and vulnerable, but this is like, everything's going to work out, it's going to be good. So taking the leap, I feel like having the conversations, yeah, but then like, okay, let's do it, like actually doing it is important here. So next we have, what is this? We have the Moon card. So yeah, this is like not being thrown off by the fact that you don't have all of the answers laid out in front of you. Again, there's a lot here about intuition and just like leaning into it, leaning into the direction that you're being guided without being able to see the full path in front of you. So again, really big energy because again, we have two major arcana coming up. We have the Five of Cups. So you might be grieving something that you're leaving. And then we also have the Eight of Swords. So yeah, there's just a little bit, I feel like, anxiety because of the changes that are happening, the changes that are being made. I feel like a challenge is that obviously when we start a new chapter, we step into a new timeline, something else falls away. So there might be a little period of like grief or just like, being like, wow, this is all happened so fast, or this is actually happening, and like grieving, whoever you might be leaving behind, or whatever situations or job, career, whatever it is, that you might be like stepping or like leaving behind. But, and just like, yeah, keeping faith with the Eight of Swords energy, and having faith. This is like, you have really good momentum. So I feel like you're going to do it. You're going to stick to it. There might be moments of like, oh, like, can I really do it? And maybe some of you, everyone's going to be at a different end of the spectrum. So some of you just like might want to back out or something. And some of you guys are going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so regardless, I feel like there's a big message here. And I feel confident saying that, to move forward with those plans that you've been getting in intuition, especially because like, it seems like there's a cycle that's been completed, or it's just like, the winds of change are coming in, and it really is time to change and to like grow even more in the direction of who you came to be, and to like step into your stardom even more, step into like that main character energy even more. And there's just some like imposter syndrome or like doubts, of course, because I feel like it is like a big leap in whatever area this is. It's like, it feels kind of big and it feels like exciting. And, and sometimes it's like that too good to be true energy. Like, can I really trust this? But again, the Moon, it's like, don't fall prey to the idea of like, okay, this is like too good to be true. Or, like, I feel like the universe is promising the Moon, and is it going to really happen? And have faith in your dreams. Yes. I feel like everything is going to work out. You're not alone in this, is what's being reiterated. Like, you have a lot of support in the physical realms, I'm hearing, as well as like the astral realms. And I don't really see, in terms of challenges, it seems more like a mental, emotional thing. Like your heart is grieving the loss of something that you're walking away from, or something that like, has to change, or, whatever it is that you're leaving, or whatever it is that you have to like step beyond in order to, move in this new direction, that I feel like you kind of have no choice anyways. Like, even if you feel like you have a choice, I really feel like the universe you know, like the tower would come eventually if you didn't lean into this. Okay. And that maybe that's something that your intuition was saying too. Like, I know for me, when I like start to, before the Wheel of Fortune energy comes into my life, and like a big opportunity is given to me, I start to intuit it. And sometimes that intuition can be like feeling really like bored of where I'm at, or like what I'm doing for work or something like that. Like, or, you know, just like wanting love or like feeling love before it comes in or something. And then it's interesting because I'm bored, or because I'm like, oh, like I kind of want to make like, kind of want to have like a little bit more money here and there or something like that. Like an opportunity will come, or, you know, like I'll be talking about like, oh, that'd be so cool. Like if I had this, or if like I had a studio space to like lead breathwork in, and then like an opportunity will come up where someone's like, oh, like, you know, I know someone, like you know, you can teach at my studio or something like that. But it's interesting because that's how intuition works. It's like that seed is being planted to you from your higher self. And then you're like thinking about it and you're like, oh, I'm like a little uncomfy. I want to move in this new direction. And then, it's like, you're paying attention, you know, because it's something that you've already been like, oh, like I'm ready for this. And so you're paying attention. And so when those opportunities do come, it's like, oh, hello. Yes, this is exactly what I've been waiting. And so it's like, are you creating that, or are you just intuiting your timelines, or is it like a little bit of both? I definitely feel like it's just tuning, being intuitive to your highest path and your highest timeline. And then, being receptive and flexible enough to lean into those changes. And so it's a co-creation, you know, it is you creating it on various levels for sure. So this is beautiful. I hope you lean into the changes. I do see it's going to be so fun and so epic in whatever ways that this applies to each of you individually. If you want to share down below, feel free. That like totally cool. And let's go ahead and leave a star emoji, because this is big energy. This is super fun. Thank you guys for being here. Leave a comment and like this video. This all helps my channel grow, and, letting these messages reach more and more people as they need them. And I hope to see you again on my channel soon. Much love. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading all about January and what you can expect. There are 2 aspects to these readings today. The first one is any highlights and milestones you can expect, and the next are areas of growth or challenge. So you can stick around for the shuffling portion or just hop straight into the reading. Check out the description box for that. So we're calling upon those beings that are overseeing the group of souls drawn to pile number 2 today. What are the milestones and highlights group 2 can look forward to the month of January? Highlights and milestones, please. Okay, awesome. Highlights and milestones, group 2, January. Highlights and milestones. Highlights and milestones, please. Okay. And let's clarify the energy even further with the tarot. Highlights, milestones. Okay. Now, challenges are areas of growth for group number 2. Challenges or areas of growth, please. Okay, let's clarify the energy even further. Challenges, areas of growth. Challenges, areas of growth. All right. And let's clarify the energy. Challenges, areas of growth. Challenges, areas of growth. Okay, challenges, areas of growth. All right. I love my new tarot deck. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so highlights and milestones. First we have here and now. Beautiful. Next we have hold your vision. Okay, maybe you guys are a little bit like an anticipatory energy where it feels like nothing's really moving. You're neither here nor there, or it's just like maybe it's like big decisions are being made or are being considered, and you're being asked to hold the vision in terms of like what it is that you really desire in this life and what your dreams are, but at the same time to be as present as you can to your current circumstances, because all we truly have is here and now, and our future is always within the here and now. And to, just be present is what I'm getting. And you just might be like, maybe even like excited about something moving forward, even nervous, right? It's kind of both the same energy in our bodies, but our lens of perception will, kind of color how our experience is, right? So anxiety and excitement both feel the same in our body, but again, our labels, our interpretations, our perception will color it in certain ways. So let's get a little bit deeper with, Five of Swords. So there is a little bit, I feel like, of wanting to be somewhere else, or like I'm seeing in my mind's eye something about, where you want to be long term, what you want your future to look like, and maybe it feels like it's not here yet, or it's not here fast enough, or you're not sure how the pieces are going to come together. And I'm already hearing that, it's going to be good. And, the whole human experience is the hero's journey. We're all living out our own individual hero's journey, and hold the faith. Okay. And let's get deeper before King of Swords. We have the Hermit. So there's a lot of emphasis here about like meditation practices and whatever helps you kind of clear the insanity of your mind, because there is a little bit of some like mental energy that I feel like is kind of creating like polarity within your experience. And it could have to do with other people as well, where you're like wondering if you're doing the right thing, or wondering if like whether it's doing the right thing for yourself or like other people. But communication is being emphasized here. Stillness is being emphasized here, communicating from a place of stillness, communicating from a place of peace, and not making decisions out of grief, not making decisions out of haste, not making decisions out of fear, and doing your best before you move forward with anything, that you're like pretty centered and, one foot in front of the other kind of is what I'm getting. And we have the Sun. So making up, doing things from a place of inner illumination. I feel like it's interesting because this is about the highlight, right? So I feel like there's like good things that are in store and things that are happening and changes that are coming. I'm just getting, it feels like a little ungrounded, maybe because you are really excited, or like there are changes that are coming in, or there's like a sense of just being like on your game, or there's a sense of like, wow, this is finally happening, and just wondering how all of the pieces are gonna fall into place down the line or something, or how is this, like, can I really do this? Like it's here now, like it's good now, but can this actually sustain me in the long run or something? And there's a lot here about just like grounding the energy and being present, and just like feeling proud about where you are, I feel like is a highlight in January. You're feeling proud about how far you've come because you haven't given up, despite like other people's doubts, despite other people's comments, despite other people's perspectives, despite even your own, that are echoes of humanity's doubts and beliefs and falsities. And I feel like a highlight too is how far you've come in terms of like the person that you were, and in terms of like how many times you've wanted to give up and you haven't. You've kind of held to. And so now I feel like things are starting to really pay off for you, group number 2. And you're starting to see the evidence of what's you've created so far. And I feel like if anything, it's just, again, that ungrounded energy, neither good nor bad, but it's just, I feel like you kind of feel like it's just the beginning in some ways, and it's only getting better, because the air energy is something that like it moves very fast, and and so I feel like things are just moving rapidly for you, and I feel like you're expressing a lot of gratitude in the month of January, and just like kind of having a lot of reflective moments of where you've come from, where you've been, where you are now, where you're going, and just like really proud of yourself for how far you've come, and really proud of yourself for what you've overcome within yourself. And I feel like what feels really good about this energy is that even when challenges do come, there's not like a question of like, can I get past this? In January, it's like, you know that you're going to grow through anything that comes your way, and that nothing really can throw you off course from what it is that you feel like you're here for. Yeah, the fixed moon, it's like nothing can like steer me away from what my dreams are. Very rooted in who you are, and very rooted in who you came here to be. And I feel like it's very optimistic, right? This month feels very optimistic. And I feel like you guys are beings that probably already practice contemplation, concentration, meditation, that kind of thing. But I was already getting in the very beginning, like just ways to just remember to ground. And like, I know for me, sometimes when things start to get really good and like I get really excited or whatever, in the past, that's when I've stopped meditating, right? And it's like, we need to do it at all times, not just when we're like feeling shitty, or not just when like we need to like change our state, or we're getting too attached to the negative. But it's also important that when good things are happening, that we're also maintaining that state of equilibrium, because we don't want to get too attached to the positive, right? Because that brings us back into that state of polarity, to where our happiness and our peace can be triggered by what's coming and going. And so I feel like that's why the guide started off with advice before we even got to the highlights, is because I just feel like you're reaching like a point of culmination where, you know, it's getting good for you, and it's like maintaining a state of detachment and like being in the world but not of it, kind of thing. And it's just going to get better. So getting into what it is that might be challenging you, or your area of growth. So we have Mercury messages, and we have a personal issue reaches resolution. So you just might be having like some sort of like communication with someone this month about, you just might be having like difficult conversations. I also think Mercury is stationing retrograde, or it already has, like today when I'm filming it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be retrograde. And by the time you guys see this, for sure, I'm like end of December into January, I'm pretty sure. But let's get deeper with the tarot. We have the 7 of Cups. We have the Death card. That's more of that resolution, full moon energy. We have the 8 of Swords in reverse. I feel like, a challenge might just be getting to this point of resolution, or like, it's been challenging to get to a point of resolution with something, and like completion in a relationship. Or I do feel like this might have to do with the relationship. I feel like too, it could have to do with like making some sort of decision, and like, making the decision and communicating to other people who are involved about the decision. There's almost like, I feel like a challenge is like, it's interesting because on one end things are going so good, but I feel like there's just like details that need to be attended to in the month of January that might be kind of like closing the door, or like, I'm getting cycle completed kind of energy, and communicating to other people as openly and honestly as you can, other people that might be involved in, your situations or whatever. But I feel like, something is you are reaching like the end of a cycle, or in terms of something that has seemed like an issue, or something that you've like kind of wanted to move beyond. But the challenge might just be in like communicating that to other people. Or just like how other people are communicating to you too, and you know, how to like be open to what they have to say without taking it personally or something. Let's get deeper. We have the 6 of coins, and we have the Page of Wands. Actually, this is the Knight of Wands. So I feel like communicating to someone, or there might be just like a new direction that you're guided to go, or like you're trying to make a decision about, you know, finances or like a job or like even a living situation. And I feel like there might be a lot of different directions you could go. And so I'm just getting the sense that there's a lot of like options. There's a lot of like kind of unknown up in the air, and you're like wanting to reach. It's interesting because on one hand, I feel like in terms of your dream and your timeline and what you feel like you're here to do, like, you know, you're locked in, like, you know, you're moving in a good direction, but I feel like there's like something supplemental here is what I'm getting. Like there's like supplemental or additional things that would make you just feel more like comfortable during this like in-between state that I feel like you guys are kind of in. It's like, it's almost like, and take this just as a symbol because this could apply to different areas. It's almost like when you have a business that's growing and it's not quite where you need it to be in order to like fully sustain you. And so it's like figuring out those supplemental things that you could do to like, you know, so you're not giving up your dream. You're not like giving up your vision. You're not leaving back doors open on your dreams. But at the same time, like practically speaking, it's like, okay, how do we like make ends meet until then or something? And so I feel like there's a lot of transformation that's in store. And I feel like it's heralding in a new beginning in general. And I just feel like you are also stepping beyond, like the Death card is really symbolic here because it's like you're taking things into your own hands. Like I'm getting the sense of feeling very empowered to like, you know, make these hard decisions and to make these tough calls and to, you know, be the person to like put yourself out there. And I feel like to not just let things be up in the air and to actually, you know, have a solid plan moving forward is kind of what I'm getting. And so there might be just a lot of communication with like different people that you know, or like jobs, you know, positions or something like that. And I feel like, maybe just a little bit of anxiety of like, okay, how is this all gonna like, I have my vision, I know it's possible, but just like the details of life might just be a little bit overwhelming. But I do feel like overall you just like have a lot of different directions you could go. And so, putting to bed, you know, letting all those other things die. It's like, which one's going to like be left? You know, it's that one cup that's going to stand out amongst the rest. But I do feel like this has something to do with like, it's some sort of like supplemental thing of like, okay, how is this, you know, how is this all going to work out? Or how is this, practically speaking, going to, what, like the in-between, right? How is this, while I'm getting from A to Z, you know, what can I do to where I'm not like fully closing the door on my vision? But that is like also fun and in alignment with my values, etc. And, I feel like the big thing about Mercury is like learning what things, or just being aware of what things are coming and stemming from a place of fear and what is stemming from a place of higher guidance, right? Because this is kind of big, I feel. Like this is really like solidifying you to a new timeline. And so it's really important that we're not letting those lower thoughts or those like thoughts of like, feeling imprisoned or like, I don't want to make a bad decision, a wrong decision or whatever, might be a little bit of it, like a challenge, you know, an area of growth for sure. But it does seem like there is good things in store for sure. And I feel like you're closer than you think is just what I'm getting. Yeah, personal issue reaches resolution, hold your vision. I feel like you're closer than you think. And so if anything, this just might offer some sort of like, even if you think you're moving in a certain direction or you might have to make a certain decision, I feel like it might just offer your psyche or like the more animalistic part of the self just like rest and reprieve, so you can still stay in your like open, flowy kind of state of being that you've like worked really hard to be in, like the state of trust. But yeah, definitely something ending, or a chapter ending, or a way of being ending, something that is like you're kind of like done with anyways ending. And I feel like maybe the biggest part is like, okay, communicating or receiving messages from your divine self, or you know, being open and honest with other people about, okay, what's the next step, where are we going from here, kind of thing. So yeah, this is really cool. This is dope. This can apply in so many different ways, and I want to hear down below in the comment section how this applies to you in particular, if this was your pile today. If this was your pile, what emoji can we leave if you don't have anything else to share? Why don't you go ahead and leave the little yoga person, little meditating person, or the sun, or whatever. Maybe even like a snake representing transformation. And yeah, give this video a thumbs up. All of these things help these messages reach the people that need them when they need them. And yeah, I hope to see you on my channel again soon. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading, January readings that we're doing today. 2 aspects to these readings. The first one are any milestones and highlights you can expect, and the next are any areas of growth or challenges that you can expect for the upcoming month. So far, these have been so dope, and we're coming in strong. 2023, I swear, is the year. It is our year, you guys. So you can stick around for the shuffling portion, or you can jump straight into the reading, but we're just going to go ahead and shuffle all the cards out. So we're calling upon those beings that are overseeing the group of souls drawn to this pile today. What are some highlights, or the main highlights and milestones that group 3 can anticipate for the month of January, please? Okay. And highlights and milestones for the month of January, please. Okay, anything else? Okay. Highlights and milestones for group 3, January. Okay, now areas of growth and challenge for those group of beings drawn to this pile. Okay. And let's clarify one more time. All right, let's get started. Okay, so milestones and highlights that you can expect, group 3. We have building blocks. Okay, you're on your way to something, laying some sort of solid foundation. Let's see what it has to do with. A fiery climax approaches. So it's interesting, we're building something and a fiery climax approaches. So I feel like you guys are reaching some sort of milestone, like in a relationship, maybe something that you've been working on for sure. Maybe even like business. I feel like something is like, it's clear that it's something that you've been dedicated towards and working really hard at, and something that means a lot to you with this Aries energy. It's something that's probably part of your purpose, or you just feel like it brings out the best side of you, the best version of yourself. Something you've been working on, I feel like, is coming to like a culmination point. Doesn't feel like it's ending, but it just feels like you're getting some sort of like full circle moment of like, oh God, this is where we're at. And it feels like really exciting, honestly. We have the Two of Cups, so it could have to do with like a relationship, taking things to the next level in a relationship, or like for some of you, this definitely has to do with like a pregnancy, or you're having a baby, or you're conceiving in January. Let's see what else this could have to do with. Eight of Cups. So yeah, this could even be like you guys are like going towards one thing that involves you walking away from another. And it's like, I feel like there might be some, I feel this is a milestone or a highlight. So I feel like it would be something that you've been like, you're ready for, maybe even something that you have been like anticipating for some time, but you're really like on fire in the month of January. Like it does feel like a very activated month, and there's like a recognition that you guys have that you're moving in the right direction, and that you're moving in the direction of like your soul's purpose more and more. It could have to do with like someone else, or like it could even be like just the people that you work with, or roommates, or just like living situation, or because there are so many cups here. I do feel like this has to do with, oh my gosh, we have 2-8 here, and then we have 2-8 here. So that's a really significant number. You might look that up if you want to, but also 10, right? So there's so much reiteration here about like some like a cycle being completed, and moving in the right direction, and feeling like you're moving in the right direction, feeling like things are going in the right direction, feeling like you're like met by life, you're understood by life, you're making love to life. Life is your lover, life has got your back. And no matter what the journey entails, I feel like another highlight, a more subtle spiritual highlight, is that like, wow, I can really trust life. I see how life has, it's not always made sense in the moment, but when I just follow what feels right, and when I follow that next step, it's like I look back and I see this beautiful journey that I have gone on. I see this beautiful journey that life has effortlessly led me down. But I do feel like in some sort of way, there is like a point of culmination that is very obvious, where it's like, okay, this is like an initiation into a next level. And like saying goodbye to one thing, is like seen as a celebration almost. And I feel like there's like, it's almost like a leaving on good terms is what I'm getting. And we have the Tower. So something a little unexpected. I'm like, did I speak too soon? Yeah, fiery climax and the Tower. So I feel like something's coming in hot. And it's interesting too that we have building blocks, because when I think of the Tower, I think of like stones, blocks, or not necessarily blocks, but like bricks or whatever. And so again, I feel like that maybe this is like something is coming in hot that you really don't like expect, or that maybe you thought was going to be in your life long term or something, or maybe even if you didn't think it was going to be like long term. I feel like you've been working towards something, or you've been working at something, you've been working on yourself, and something suddenly happens to where I feel like you're guided to move in a new direction, but it's in a direction that like is even better. So even though this might be like a sudden kind of thing, like it seems like it comes out of nowhere, like you get the news of something and you're like, wow, this hit me left field. It's like pushing you in the direction of something even better. And so it's like welcomed. And I feel like too, because we do have the Eight of Cups energy, I am getting the sense that it's not something that would necessarily come like as a surprise. And again, what's so beautiful about the Tower, it's called the Tower of Regeneration in some decks. It's because like it's only knocking off those things that are like inauthentic to us anyways, So yeah, I feel like it feels good. It almost feels like kind of like a rebirth experience. But yeah, let's get a little bit deeper. I'm sure we'll get more context as we move along with the reading. So what are some highlights, what are the challenges and areas of growth for group number 3, please? We have first house, arrival. Okay, look at all of this Aries energy. This is like no joke. So you have arrived. This is beautiful. Let's see what else. You're very close to achieving your goal. A fiery climax. You're very close to achieving your goal. Aries energy. Let's get the tarot. The Six of Swords. Yeah, that's definitely like very close. I feel like you're close to something. It's like you feel like you're moving in the right direction. And maybe you guys are even getting a little bit antsy right now. Like, okay, I'm trying to build this thing. And even if you don't reach the climax or the point of culmination, it's like, I feel like you can feel the energy is shifting. And you're like ready. It's almost like, you know, this happens to me so many times where I'm ready for something new. And I start to get a little bit antsy in a certain area of my life. And I just sit with it. I just notice it. But it's like, it's almost like I'm intuiting that new thing is going to come in because I'm like so antsy about it. I'm like, wow, I was just like thinking how I wanted to like, you know, switch things up in this area. And then an opportunity was presented to me that like was perfect and that fit it. And so it's like that antsiness almost made me more aware of the opportunity as it was presenting itself. Like it made me more aware of the wave as it was like coming so I could catch it. And so, yeah, I feel like you've been building towards something that like matters to you, an area that matters to you, an area that leaves your cup feeling so full and you feel so like giving and receiving of life, like this beautiful flow. And I feel like some news might come in or something happens like suddenly that triggers you into moving in a certain direction, right? And maybe in some senses that it's like challenging, but things are going to turn out better than you expected. In terms of, yeah, you're very close to achieving your goal. Fiery climax approaches. So maybe things are just a little unsure of like what this means for you, because there's a lot of focus of self here with Aries. And so maybe it's like, how is this going to shape me? Or, you know, is this really, maybe there's just some questions of like, is this really like the direction I'm supposed to be going? Is this really like, if I take this leap or if I do this thing, if I go in this direction, you know, it's almost like a trust fall is what I'm getting. Like you're being asked to take a trust fall in a certain direction. And again, I feel like it has to do like, it's very expansive for sure with all this Aries energy. Like it's bringing you more into a better version of yourself. And so there's so many different catalysts that can do that. Like lovers can do that. Friends can do that. Opportunities can do that, you know, like job opportunities or like being invited to like be on someone's podcast or, you know, so it feels very expansive. And I feel like it might feel like you're dangling. It's just what I'm getting. Like you're, God, it might just feel like the challenge is that the path is not super clear, or you're like, I can feel that I'm in this timeline, but I don't fully see it yet. But you're closer than you think. You're like a rifle, and you're very like you're closer than you think. And I hope you don't give up on whatever it is that you're working towards, or I don't even think giving up might be the right way to say this, but I just like, you know, hope that you can enjoy the unfolding of it because it seems like really exciting. We have the Four of Swords. So don't trip, chocolate chip. And we have the Ace of Cups. So beautiful. Yeah, I feel like this most certainly has to do with like relationships and intuition and moving in the direction of your heart's desires, not giving up. But this most certainly has to do with like your soul's purpose for sure with all this Aries energy, and like just being bold. And, you know, nature responds to boldness. This is one of my favorite Terrence McKenna quotes. Like, nature responds to courage. And when you commit to your highest aspirations, it's that undying commitment that calls upon the forces of nature to just work in your favor. And so again, on one hand, it's like, okay, I'm intuiting some changes are coming, and then maybe it like comes sooner than you were expecting. Okay, like moving in a certain direction, it's like, wow, this came out of left field, or like I knew that I was going to be, you know, walking away from this thing and going on this new journey in this other direction at some point. But it's like, yeah, you like can feel it approaching, but you didn't think it would come in as quickly as it did. And so, yeah, there's so many different ways. I'm stoked to kind of like hear how this applies to all of you guys individually, because it is very cryptic in general right now, because I just feel like the people drawn to this pile, it's going to be very unique to your situation. But yeah, and then also a challenge is like not getting super in your head about it. Like Six of Swords is things are going to work out better than you expected. It's like you took the journey. You're on the way to clearer waters, to calmer waters. And maybe in some sense you question that, or, you know, it's hard for you to see how, like, protected you are. And the Four of Swords is all about like taking time to rest and relax. Like, it comes after the Three of Swords, so it's after like a kind of a challenging time, you know, after a time that kind of tests you and tests your integrity, you know. But I feel like keeping your heart open and remaining open to where you're being guided, and just like riding the waves of excitement, because this feels like very activated, excited, moving forward, you know, like the ultimate, you know, cardinal sign. You know, Aries is like the ultimate starter of things, and the ultimate like, all right, let's fucking do this, you know. And so yeah, I feel like just allowing the experience to hold you and to like remain in the heart, and just being as present as you can with the changes as they're happening. Yeah, it just seems like kind of like a transitory month for you guys in some way, but you're arriving more into the version of self. Like, you're definitely going down the path that I feel like is meant for you, the path that is more aligned and reflective of like the intention that your soul had for you in terms of the person that you came to be. So this is beautiful. Keep it up. Let us know down below like how this applies for you. Are there like horns, or is there like a ram down below, or like, you know, a goat or something? Because like that's definitely you guys. Let's leave like an Aries emoji, even if it's like the Aries sign, you know. Let me know if you guys have strong Aries placements or first house placements. I'd really be like curious to see. Maybe there's like some epic transitions happening right now. Transitions, is that the word? I don't know. But yeah, comment this video, like this video. This all helps people that, you know, it helps the channel grow. And not even about growing, but it just helps the people like that need the messages, get them when they need them. We're all in this together. This is an interconnected journey. We can't do it without one another. And yeah, I hope this finds you well, and I hope I see you soon. Much love. Group 4, super stoked for your January reading. This year is popping off for everyone so far. And if you're joined to my channel, honestly, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was popping off for you as well. Okay, because we just out here. It's going to be a great year. And there are two aspects to this reading in particular. We're doing highlights and milestones you can expect for the month of January, as well as challenges, like areas of challenge or areas of growth. Okay, so you can stick around for the shuffling, or you can jump into my description box and head straight into the reading. So we're calling upon the group of guides that are connected to the group of souls that are drawn to this pile today, and we're asking, what are the highlights and milestones they can expect for the month of January, please? Okay. Highlights and milestones for the month of January, please, Spirit. All right, let's get a little bit deeper here. Highlights and milestones, January. Okay. Challenges or areas of growth, please. Okay, challenges or areas of growth. All right, and finish it off with some clarifying cards. Challenges, areas of growth. Okay. All right, let's get into it. So, highlights and milestones, January. We have never-ending story. And we have emotions are running high. I'm going to go ahead and flip the tarot over so we can have a more clear picture here. Three of Swords. Yeah, I was kind of getting that it's like, we're processing a lot of emotions. which I feel like is helping to increase your magnetism with the Queen of Wands. Yeah, you're releasing a lot. And this is seen as a highlight because I feel like it's a releasing of things that felt like for so long they were a deep part of your identity. Like it seems like a big highlight is like it feels exciting in some sense, but at the same time it feels very raw. Like your heart feels very raw, but like in a good way. And like why is that a good thing? Why is that? You know, anytime I have ever like every time I have had like a massive rebirth type of experience, there's that sense of rawness that you get, you know? So, and a lot of the times too, when I'm doing like a breathwork journey or something, or like maybe you guys have been like, know what it's like to go on like a plant medicine journey where it's like you go through that cycle of like death and you like go through the underworld and you meet yourself, you meet like your past wounds and stuff. And then you come out on the other side and literally like feel rebirth. And it's like, wow, like wouldn't sign up to do that every day, but you know, that was needed. That's what I had to go through. And so I feel like there's something that has been plaguing you or been part of your life or part of your psyche, part of your identity for some time. And like, you're finally moving beyond it. And I feel like it's really intense with the supermoon, like super intense at some point. And I feel like maybe you guys are doing something. Like, are you going like on a retreat, or do you guys have something planned to where you're like, maybe you're taking a breathwork journey with me because I offer these, you know, and maybe it's something that just like, maybe you do go on a plant medicine journey on your own or something like that. I feel like it'd be one of those things where like, you're not doing it because you watched this video. It's like either going to happen naturally and you're going to come back and be like, oh man, Marissa was spot on. Or like, I feel like it's something that is already planned, or something that maybe even not planned from this level, but planned from a higher level, you know? But yeah, this is increasing your everything. This is increasing your point of radiance. It's breaking your heart open. It's tenderizing your heart. It's like this thing that has been like causing you so much, I feel like, shame and embarrassment. And like, am I ever going to step beyond this, is finally coming to a head. And, yeah, it's increasing your radiance for sure. There's something like, you know, when you guys like have a good cry, after a good cry, it's just like, you're so much more authentic, you know, and it's like, you're so much more raw to the human experience and your compassion is higher. And so it's like, you're more you know, the more raw and broken open you are. And the more that, you know, that's just like my experience of crying. I just feel like, like I don't have to put on a show, you know? And so there's a sense of realness that I'm getting, that you guys are experiencing, that like feels so good. You're like, wow, I didn't know it was this good to feel this good. And also, I didn't know that the way to feeling this good was by like leaning into those things that I, in the past, would have rather avoided. So we have the Three of Pentacles and we have the World. Yeah, big completion. Okay, supermoon, the World, never ending story. This is like big completion type of energy, full circle type of energy. And yeah, I am getting that you might be guided. Like it's in some way, I feel like it's catalyzed by work that you're doing with other people, or work that you like were inspired by, something that you heard on the internet, like, or like, you know, for example, I started experimenting with like psilocybin when I found out, like, first I finally admitted at 25 that I have experienced trauma in my life. Before then I didn't, because like, I don't know, I didn't because I thought it was like a psychological thing. And I'm like, if I say that I have, then like I have, and if I don't, I haven't. But my nervous system definitely told a different story. And like, it was a never ending story for me of like feeling very small, or like I had so much power within me, but I didn't know how to unleash it because like I had so much anxiety and insecurities, you know, or just like existing in a way that felt not forced, you know, or that felt like natural. Like, can I just like naturally be powerful? Do I really have to like feel like I have to force it all the time? Like, you know, I can do it and I can like get what I need to do, but there was a lot of healing that needed to happen. And so yeah, I just like kept hearing things about the healing powers of like psilocybin, for example, and just like how it, you know, increases neuroplasticity and all of this stuff. And so that's when I started like exploring it myself and going down these like shamanic types of journeys. And the same thing with like breath work, you know, that was facilitated by other people, and it was in a group of other people, you know, been doing that for like 5 years. And so that kind of thing, I feel like in some way you're like in a setting where there's other people there that are like healing in a similar way, or in some way there's a discussion that you hear, there's like a podcast or something that you hear that kind of guides you in this direction of understanding and releasing some of the shame around an area, or like understanding a part of yourself, like having deep understanding of like a deep core wound that has like maybe caused you to not operate, or to, you know, we're always operating in a perfect way. We really are. It's all good. It's just our minds that think otherwise. And so I feel like you're just gaining insight around something that has plagued you, or that you felt like has been keeping you from being your most vibrant, authentic, powerful, like sexy, radiant. Maybe I've already said that, but I love that word. Just like attractive person. And I feel like you're leaning into those emotions, and there might be a period of like, wow, this is a lot. This is intense. Maybe it's like a day or a couple hours, you know, a few hours, depending on what it is, or maybe it's just like something that a period that life naturally guides you into, like some sort of like dark night moment, you know, and then like you're rebirthed, literally, like there's birth here. You know, you come out on the other side. The world talks about completion, and it also talks about, all right, now we're ready for something new. Now we're ready for a new cycle. Okay, so let's get into challenges or opportunities for growth. We have symbiosis, hold your vision. Yeah, there might be some sort of like, it might be hard for you guys to open up to other people. Because in some way, I feel like a big part of what you're healing might have been because you felt betrayed by someone or by people, you know, like if you've been bullied, for example, throughout your life, it might be hard for you to open up to groups, or to feel like, you know, people are safe, or to feel like people actually care, and that to feel like people aren't just like inherent assholes, or like, you know, maybe something happened in a relationship, or yeah, it's like, I feel like I just see a link between these two things. And so it's almost like the challenge or the opportunity for growth is like what's going to heal you, or like what's going to offer an opportunity for healing is also something that inherently there might be a little resistance to, not because it's your intuition saying it's not for you, but because that's, you know, how our guides get us to heal. It's like we have to lean into those things that, you know, it's like we got to step out. We got to step out of the comfort zone. How bad do you actually want it? You know, and so I feel like while you're in the pit, whether it's, again, it's just a few hours or a few days or, you know, a week or whatever, to not label so much your experience as negative, and to know that you'll be on the other side. And this is part of it, you know, like anytime I go through a dark night, this is something my guides worked with me, or that like an insight they gave to me like a couple months ago. It's like, because I think I had like one dark night after another, and they were like, no, that's actually a really good sign, because dark nights we have what's known as like, and this happens in like a psilocybin trip, or even like a breathwork journey, where there's like a, God, what's it called? Where an identity crisis, and everything you thought you knew about yourself and life up to that point in time makes no sense anymore. Right? And so it can be serving. It's really serving when we recognize, because it's not that, it's just like a version of yourself that you're ready to let go of anyways, is like trying to shed its skin. And a lot of the times I think because we can label it as negative, like, oh, this is not right. Like I shouldn't be feeling this. And we try to like reinforce also our old identities, you know, our old belief systems, but they're trying to like peel away so you can, you know, align even more with your vision. So you can embody even more of the light that you came here to embody. So yeah, I feel like a challenge is just like welcoming it and knowing that it's part of it, and knowing that there's nothing to be like shameful of. It's a human experience. Like, it's so crazy that we've gotten so weird about just natural human emotions, you know, because everyone experiences them. And the more intense you experience something, the safer it is to say that many people on the planet experience something similar. That's something my guide showed me a few years ago. So the Fool, holding your vision. Yeah. So you're moving into something new, right? I feel like just allowing yourself permission to adopt these new identities. And maybe even too, it's like, this could be saying that, yeah, your work environment is changing or something. I know that's like a really random message, kind of left field, but I feel like in some way this is affecting how you show up and what you feel like you're capable of doing. But in a good way. Let's get deeper with the tarot. We have the Emperor and we have the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, so I feel like this just feels like an area of growth. It doesn't really feel like a challenge. It feels like you're just growing, and these are the growing pains that you're going along with it, because the highlight has some aspects of healing and things that like are indicative of growth in it, and then the challenge or the area of growth has highlights and aspects of like, you know, positive things in it. So there's a lot here about staying committed to your vision with the Emperor especially. And the Fool, I feel like, is just more of the energy of like, you know, the process of healing is not something that is overnight, and it's a journey. It's one foot in front of the other. And so I feel like in some way taking the leap in terms of your modality of healing just might be what is the thing that is kind of holding you back. But it's like, or that is just a little bit like you're unsure of, or you're like, I don't know. It could even be, you know, like I've seen this happen in relationships, and this would happen to me, for example, like when you're just like so nervous to like, you like the person so much and you're nervous. So you like self-sabotage, or like you don't go after what it is that you want because you're like, I couldn't get it anyways. Or like, you know, even if you did have a chance, it's like, if your narrative is convincing you that you don't, then you're not even going to try it. And so that's kind of what I'm getting. It's like, there's an opportunity. Again, no timelines are ever set in stone, but there's a big timeline opportunity here where you're like moving beyond a lot. And it's by like working with someone or a group of people that have the skills and the expertise in an area to help you move beyond this thing, or to like, that's going to, and even if you don't know what it is, you might not know what it is until you're in the actual ceremony or the actual like breathwork container or whatever. And then you just have this like huge epiphany of like, oh my God, this has happened to me so many times, like in breath especially, where like just I'm revealed how like my behaviors and how it's like where it stemmed from, you know, behaviors that felt limiting that I didn't really know how to move beyond. And then like my whole life, I see like flashes before me of my whole life, or like, you know, things just make sense. You just have these big epiphanies. And I just saw 15:55 on the clock. Yeah. And then it's like, everything changes. Sometimes it's just literally just the awareness of where something stemmed from that changes everything. And so I feel like maybe in some way working with someone is just like, you're like, oh, I don't know. Like maybe you're a little shy or a little bit like shameful to like, or just nervous of what's going to come up or what's going to happen. Or like, you know, if I ask for someone to be like a guide for me in this way, like a plant medicine guide or something, maybe it's just like, on one hand, you know how healing it could be, but on another hand, you're like, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to look. I don't know like what's going to come up. I don't know, like, I don't want to embarrass myself anymore, you know, or something like that. So I feel like, again, on one hand, there's a big opportunity, and an area that is challenging is that like to get a hold of that opportunity and to like move more in the direction of where you want to go, making positive progress, it's going to require you to like kind of be bold and kind of just like suck it up, and like go for it, because you don't have anything to lose. And we've all freaking been through it. Like if not in this life, then others, you know, and anyone that judges it, they either haven't been through it yet, or, you know, they'll get there eventually. because I really don't feel like when you've been through the healing journey that you ever judge anyone else's healing journey. If anything, you have such great compassion for the human experience and how diverse our problems are and how diverse our wounds are. But at the end of the day, like, it's all stemming from, you know, a core misperception, a core illusion, you know? And so just, yeah, take the leap, go for it, because on the other side of it is like a completion, you know, on the other side of it, I feel like is an even greater, more free, beautiful version of self. But this is like powerful. Let me know what you guys are doing if you want to share down below. The people in this community are like freaking rad. But yeah, this is really going to bring you into your power even more if you really, you know, choose to lean into that discomfort and align with this like powerful, you know, vision and the version of yourself that is connected to that vision. It's important that you embody that more and more. And it's not that you're not them already. It's that we need to shed some of the falsities, the layers of protection that we've like innocently gathered along the way. So I'm going to leave this here for now. This was your reading. Leave the world, or leave a dove down below, symbolizing like that beautiful rebirth, peace, freedom type of energy. And yeah, comment, like, and I'll see you guys soon.